Hello and welcome to week 29. This week we are looking at the balanced approach to risk management. So let's read the two questions. 8.1.3, explain the importance of taking a balanced approach to risk management. And then a question from Unit 7 on play, 7.2.2, outline the value of risk and challenge in children and young people's play and leisure. So basically, this is the idea of, should we wrap children up in cotton wool and stop them being able to hurt themselves at all? Or should we let children go out and play and make their own decisions, and maybe they'll fall out of a tree and break their arm, but then they'll learn from that? Okay, so what I've done for you is a worksheet here with the essay outline. So if you click here, you can get to the worksheet. Let's have a look. Okay, so it says a balanced approach to risk management. Here's our two questions. And to help you, I've given you an essay outline. The question from Unit 8 is an explain question. And the question from Unit 7 is just outline, but you're going to need to do lots of explaining to get the Unit 8 one. Unit 7 question, the outline, you can put in your conclusion. So let's have a look at my outline here. So in your introduction, I think you should mention that staff in schools need to take into account the different ages of the children and any special needs they have. So if you've got a 5-year-old, would you give them a sharp knife in cooking and just let them get on with it? You might not. But if they were in year 6, you might just talk to them about using knives sensibly and then allow them to use them. Unless, of course, that child in year 6 had special educational needs, they might then need more supervision as if they were in year 1 or reception child. In your next paragraph, you need to give an example. Does your school wrap children up in cotton wool? Do you think they make it too safe for the children? Maybe in the playground, they're never allowed to do anything risky. And then in your next paragraph, you could try and think of an example in your own school or from a video of allowing children to do activities which are just too risky. Maybe they take them to forest school and just let them make bonfires. Or you could watch the video about a New Zealand school which has no rules. Do you think that's too risky? Give an example. And then your 4th paragraph could be your conclusion. And this is where you're going to cover the question from Unit 7, the play unit. What's the value of risk and challenge to children's development? If we wrap them up in cotton wool, will they ever learn to make their own decisions? What do you think? I've given you a big box here. I think you could write about a page for this essay, 1 side of A4 if you're typing. And let's have a look at the bottom. What makes a good explain answer? I'll just zoom in on that. Okay, so you need to remember to P, which is P, make a point. Then give an example from your own school or maybe from a video, and then explain using words like because, as a result, in order to. When you've finished writing, go through and make sure you've used some explaining words. I've put here, don't forget to put in a quote. You're putting in a quote to show that you've read about this topic. It's not straight out of your head. You've read a book or looked at a website. And then if you're going to do that, you'll need to put the website link and the date you accessed it, or if it's a book, author, page number, date it was published right next to your quote. Remember to check your SPAG, spelling, punctuation and grammar. Don't forget to use paragraphs. I've given you 4 paragraphs: introduction, paragraphs where you're going to make some points, and then your conclusion. You could put in a link and quote from your own school health and safety policy. Then maybe there's a special policy for risk assessments. That would be good to use. And at the end, read it through and check. Have you actually answered the question? Let's go back to Moodle now and see what else I've put here to help you. So I've given you 2 really good articles that will help you with a quote. This is one from the Guardian newspaper about wrapping children up in cotton wool. And here's one from the Good School Playground Guide, especially good for talking about the value of play and how children need to make mistakes and have accidents in order to learn. And you'll like this video, I think. This is from the New Zealand School Without Rules. It's about a 10-minute video. Watch that. Be very good for examples for a school that goes to the other extreme and lets the children make up their own rules, make their own decisions. I've put here a primary school risk assessment policy. If you can't find one from your own school, don't worry, you can use this one. The question doesn't say in your own school, it just says what should a school do? And then you can stop here if you want to for this week. However, if you've been on a school trip or you think you've got a workplace diary entry that would cover all these blue or some of these blue practical criteria, you could go ahead and write a diary entry. There's a worksheet that might help you. There's some information about doing risk assessments. There's a classroom checklist. Here's a risk assessment for visiting Bristol City Museum. So if you feel like it, you could try and get ahead. You could write a diary entry for me, or you could fill in this worksheet and send it to me. I'll tell you if you're on the right lines. However, once you've done the essay, you can choose to stop here.